Okay, so when you think of Christmas music, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's just this warm, familiar sound that's kind of everywhere from Thanksgiving onward. But if you really listen closely, you start to realize you're not hearing one soundtrack. You're hearing two totally different parallel universes of sound, and getting a handle on them is really the key to understanding the holiday itself.
So let's just ask the question straight up. What does Christmas really sound like? Is it the personal, intimate voice of a crooner singing about coming home for the holidays? Or is it that massive, sweeping sound of an orchestra that feels like it's echoing through centuries? Well, the fascinating answer is it's both.
And here they are, these two parallel universes of Christmas sound. On one side, you've got the pop standard. It's personal, it's nostalgic, it feels like a cozy fireplace. This is the world of pop stars and those legendary crooners. Then, on the other side, you have the orchestral classic. This one's universal, it's timeless, and it sounds like a soaring cathedral, all thanks to choirs and huge orchestras. They give off completely different vibes, right? And yet somehow, both feel absolutely essential to the holiday. All right, let's start with a soundtrack that pretty much defined the modern American-style Christmas. Those cozy, comfortable carols that just feel like a warm hug.
I mean, the architects of this sound, they're absolute legends. Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, their voices are basically time machines. The second you hear Brenda Lee or Elvis sing a holiday song, you are instantly transported to this very specific, kind of idealized vision of Christmas. It's one that's been passed down for generations now.
Now, you gotta remember, this music didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was born from a really specific time, post-war America, a time when everyone was deeply focused on home, family, and comfort. These songs aren't about ancient history or anything like that. Nope, they're all about personal feelings. Wanting to be home, feeling nostalgic for your childhood, the simple joy of a white Christmas.
And hey, if you think this is just some old-fashioned nostalgia trip, think again. The power of this cozy Christmas is massive. Just look at this number. We're talking about just 4 iconic songs from that era, from artists like Brenda Lee, Frank Sinatra, and the rest, and they've racked up over 175 million views on YouTube alone. This isn't just old music. It's a living, breathing part of the holiday for millions of people today.
Okay, but that's only half the story, right? Running alongside all those crooners is a much older, much grander sound, one that's rooted in centuries of sacred and classical tradition. Now, what's really wild about this second soundtrack is that some of its most famous pieces, like Pachelbel's Canon or Barber's Adagio for strings, aren't even technically Christmas songs to begin with. But their whole mood, that feeling of reverence, of history, of just profound beauty, has made them honorary members of the Christmas playlist. They bring the weight, the awe. This slide, wow, it really puts the timeline into perspective. We think of Bing Crosby's White Christmas as this undeniable classic, and it is. But then you look at Schubert's Ave Maria. That's from 120 years earlier. Or Bach's Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, which came a full 2 centuries before Bing. We're talking about a musical tradition that connects the holiday season across hundreds and hundreds of years. So, if the pop standards are all about the personal, my home, my memories, this classical soundtrack is about the universal. It's grand, it's spiritual, and it's communal. This is the music that fills up a public square or a historic church or a concert hall. It connects our individual little holiday experience to a much, much larger shared history. So we've got these 2 totally separate traditions, the cozy and the cathedral, the personal and the universal. But the real magic, the secret sauce of Christmas music, is when these 2 worlds don't just exist side by side, but actually come together. And the perfect case study for this whole idea is one of the most beloved carols of all time, O Holy Nights. It's a song that lives comfortably and so powerfully in both of these musical worlds. First, think about a version by a legendary gospel singer like Mahalia Jackson. It's just unbelievably powerful and so personal. You feel the individual faith and soul pouring out of every single note. It's a performance that brings this huge, epic story down to a really deep human level. And then you have the orchestral version. This is a sweeping, grand performance by a full symphony. Here, the focus totally shifts from the personal to the majestic. That individual voice gets replaced by this huge wave of sound that's designed to just create a sense of awe and collective wonder. It's the same song, but it feels like it's from 2 completely different worlds. So here's the bottom line. We don't have to choose between the cozy fireplace and the soaring cathedral. The modern Christmas experience is actually built on this mashup of both. It needs that intimate nostalgia you get from a pop song, and it needs the timeless grandeur of an orchestra to really feel complete.
So, where does all this leave us? What does this dual identity really mean for the sound of Christmas going forward?
When you get right down to it, these two soundtracks are a perfect reflection of the holiday itself. For a lot of people, Christmas is this conversation between the sacred and the secular, right? Between our deeply personal family traditions and these vast collective cultural ones. The music isn't confused. It's a perfect mirror telling the whole complicated, beautiful story of the holiday.
And that leaves us with one final big question. I mean, these two traditions, one that's about 80 years old and the other stretching back centuries, they are so deeply ingrained. In our world today, with streaming and a constant flood of new music, is it even possible for a new song to break into this canon? Can any artist today write something that captures either that cozy feeling or that cathedral-like awe well enough to last for generations? It's definitely something to think about the next time you hear those sleigh bells start to ring.